What's going on, YouTube? In this video, we will be talking about how much time does it take to earn $500 driving Uber in Atlanta. Now, in this video, I'll break down a couple of numbers here to give you a rough estimate on, the actual realities on driving Uber. The reason I started driving Uber was to fund my tech startup, and I wanted to figure out, I am a software engineer, so I wanted to figure out the worst case scenario in earning $500 per week so that, I can add $2,000 to my business bank account per month if I keep it on track. And how much time would that cost to me? Now, I don't like to waste a lot of time, so let's go ahead and get into these numbers. Now, this is my first week that I drove Uber. Now, during this first week, this will probably be the entry point in most Uber drivers' journey. No one would know like the most popular routes or the best efficient way to drive around town, etc., without that experience. So this is me just hopping right online, going online. Now, my first week I basically drove 20 hours and I made $448.99. Now, I broke this down to a per minute value, which was 37 cents or 37.5 cents per minute. So per minute online driving Uber, I was making almost 38 cents a minute. Now, if you account for gas, which currently gas prices were about $3.29 a gallon on average during this time I was driving, for me to fill up my tank driving, it was about 16% of what I made, which was roughly about 6 cents a minute. So ultimately, per minute, you were going to make about 32 cents a minute driving Uber, which account to would be about $19.20 an hour after gas. All right, so that's after gas. So post gas on this 448, I had $377.15 left. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer. I'm not a tax accountant or CPA or any of those things. Now, I did not account for taxes at all. You'll have to do that on your own. You have to figure out, you want to track your miles and all this other stuff, etc. That's on you. I'm just giving you the numbers per what I did here. So that's on you. Okay, yeah, intro, tax thing. Oh. Now, there are some other values here that I have. With Uber, you can drive 12-hour shifts before you're forced to go offline for 6 consecutive hours. And there are 108 hours in a week. So if you wanted to maximize your potential with Uber, you would have 9 12-hour shifts that you could work to maximize to make 108 hours per week. And you can do the math to figure out how much that would be if you decide to drive all day and night. And yeah. Now, outside of that, our original goal was to make $500 a week driving Uber. So our formula for that was we'll take our goal and we'll just basically say it would be equal to the minutes that we would have to drive times the rate. The rate we discovered here was about 32 cents rounded up. And so if we wanted to make 500, we had to solve for the minutes. So that gave us 1,562.5 minutes, or a little bit over 26 hours. I just rounded it down, divided by 60, blah, blah, blah. So if you wanted to make $500 a week driving Uber in Atlanta or probably any metropolitan area with a larger population, you'll probably have to be online 26 hours, which is basically a part-time job. And that's after gas. So that number would be larger than that. I did not account for bonuses. I did not account for surges, any of the extra stuff. I literally just hopped online at random times, sometimes during the week after I get off work, sometimes on the weekend. That's literally it. So that's that. For more information and informational tutorials and stuff like this, view, like, subscribe, all that stuff they be sent on YouTube. Yeah, appreciate it. Oh, and as a ticket or a little token here, I wrote this 40 trips down because Uber had a bonus quest where if you drove 60 trips, you could make an additional like $275 or whatever it was, something like that, right? Which is, it sounds good, but you had a relatively small amount of time to earn this, which was just like from Friday to Monday morning from like 4 to 4, right? So essentially over a 3-day period, you would have had to do, if it took us 20 hours to do 40 trips, you would have had to drive Uber 30 hours to reach this 60 trip point, or you would have probably weaved in some Uber Eats orders, you know, so you do account for those, but you also have longer trips when you're driving Uber sometimes. So, all right. Thank you.